Hello Blues and welcome back to the Andy's Man Club Mersey Blue podcast. So it's Carl and I tonight. Our American correspondent and buddy Mark is unavailable due to a couple of technical issues over there in Los Angeles. So Carl, how are you, mate?
I'm great, thank you, mate.
Excellent. So we are covering Everton against Mansfield tonight, second round of the Carabao Cup from the Dixie. Let's get straight into it then, mate. Formation 4-2-3-1. A little bit of a change in personnel, as you can gather. Mark Travers in goal. Seamus Coleman right back. Tarkowski and Keane in the middle, with Mikolenko back in at left back. Jimmy Garner and Harrison Armstrong in front of them. And then a front line of Dwight McNeil, Charlie Alcaraz, Jackie G, all backing up Tierno Barry. So the first half, we actually kicked off 15 minutes late. Decent start for the Blues, I thought. Nothing spectacular, but a nice little start. About 15 minutes in, Charlie Alcaraz, he gets a shot off outside the area after a nice little bit of play from Jackie G. And then Tarky misses a header after a McNeil cross. Harrison Armstrong has a nice little shot, played in by Jackie G. I think he played it in from into the area. Harrison ran onto it from the right side, got his shot away, keeper saved it. And then we had a little bit of a spell of play from Mansfield, around about the 40-minute mark. They basically, I don't think we got the ball back. They had 5 minutes of kick and run. Nice little spell for them, and that was the end of the first half. I felt it was a solid, yet unimpressive half. A couple of chances, but not really to show for the efforts. Half time, Everton 0, Mansfield 0. Carl, give us your thoughts.
I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I thought it was just a bit of a drab first half, really. Not really that impressed going with anything. I mean, I know we had a couple of chances going forward, but it was just a much of a muchness. Probably a standard one of them games that we always seem to get early on in the cup. We don't tend to do that well against these lower teams. Unfortunately, we don't blast them like. You look at some of the results tonight, like Brighton, I think 5 or 6-0. We don't do that to teams early on in these games. So, I mean, basically, it was a decent first half without being too challenging.
Yeah, I felt it was workmanlike. We were saying off air, weren't we, the other day after the Brighton game? These are kind of potential banana skin ties, aren't they? No sort of disrespect to teams like Mansfield and that, but, you would expect to beat them, but it's always Everton, aren't we? So I thought, got in a half-time, 0-0. I mean, you had that little bit of a kick around for 5 minutes at the end of the half, but I didn't really feel threatened, did you?
No, not at all. I mean, they didn't have any shots as far as I can remember. Even in the second half, they didn't have any shots on target. Travers had to make any real saves.
Yeah, they come and they played the part, didn't they, really? I think the most impressive part of that first half for me, really, to be fair, was the light show before the game started.
Early on in the first half, Charlie had the shot, then he was good save by the goalie.
Yeah, as I say, I think it was that shot from outside the area, wasn't it, for him? I think, Jackie Grealish, I think, was everywhere, wasn't it? And I was watching the Sky commentary and they were saying basically, well, they were saying what I could see, that, Jack Grealish had been given, a free rein. Obviously, he was on the left, on the right, in the middle. He popped up everywhere. And between him and Charlie, they basically ran the show for us, didn't they?
Good to see, considering we didn't have any Njai, and a lot of creativity goes through him. When we play. Dublin started on the bench, which is fair enough because he'd only had, 6 or 7 minutes already previously this season.
Yeah.
So I didn't really expect him to start. But considering the players that were on the bench, or not even in the squad, that was a decent performance in the first half.
Yeah, it was. Agreed, mate. So we are going to take a moment to go to our sponsors, a little bit of a half-time break, and we'll be back after that to give you our thoughts on the second half. Life is hard, and we all have bad days. There are times when we feel we can't cope. This is the time we need to reach out and talk to someone. Andy's Man Club offers local support groups nationwide, running every Monday from 7pm except on bank holidays. In these groups, men can open up about the issues affecting their lives in a safe, non-judgmental environment. Our clubs are designed to be free of pressure. There is no obligation for men to speak, they can simply listen if they wish. Find us today at www.andysmanclub.co.uk. Help one guy, save one life. Andy's Man Club, it's good to talk. Welcome back, Blues. So we have just been pausing the podcast to get our draw. We managed to avoid the shite. We managed to avoid City, Arsenal, Villa, Tottenham, all of that. Carl, who do we get?
Wolves away. Bring on the Wolves.
Wolves away. We have, of course, got to play them at their place down at Molineux on Saturday. So, like Carl had said to me off air before, we're going to have a little bit of a sneak preview. How do you feel about that, mate?
I feel that it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, good draw, isn't it? Okay, so let's get back to the second half of the game against Mansfield then. Okay, so no changes at half time. We come out and I thought we had a really positive start to the second half. First couple of minutes, we were knocking the ball around. Mansfield couldn't get it back. So I think their little run towards the end of the first half was over and done with. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, up steps that little man, Alcaraz. He's on the edge of the area, on the edge of the D, and he just hits a fucking laser. 1-0 Everton. And yeah, absolutely lovely goal. 10 minutes later, we start seeing some subs on the hour. Beto comes on for Barry. I thought Barry played all right, but he didn't set the game alight. And then we saw a new signing, Tyler Diblin, for probably a tired Jack Grealish who'd ran his socks off, to be fair. A few minutes later, Mansfield had a rare shot. It come up, and I think I'm sure it like Tarkovsky in the face. It was a nice little block anyway. That was like the only real shot I think they had all game. And then talk about shots that like blocked them, whatever. Beto had one. It kind of just broke to him on the edge of the area, ran in, and he basically just tapped it straight to the keeper. And by this stage, and I am like a Beto fan, but I was starting to get a bit pissed off, to be fair. And then Miko put a nice little cross in a few more minutes later, around 75 minutes. And the header was fucking horrible from Beto. I'm thinking it's just not his night at all. I'm kind of shaking my head and thinking I'd have left like Thierry Barry on, to be fair. But famous last words as football fans, 77 mins. And Charlie Alcaraz comes off, rightfully so, to a nice round of applause from the Dixie crowd. Illy comes on, and then we see McNeil go off and Timmy Iribunum make a little appearance. 85 minutes, Njai gets a half chance. I think like the lad kind of leans into him and he kind of skews off and he catches the side netting. And I thought at that stage, you know what, like 5 minutes left, 1-0, I'm going to take it. These like little potential banana skins of games, I thought I'd just take it. A couple of minutes later, 86 minutes, Big Jake comes on for Miko, who I thought he'd had a good little run out. It was nice to see him, to be fair. And then the icing on the cake, I'd spent like last 10, 15 minutes cursing Beto. And then we got like a nice little team goal. Jimmy Garner just picked the ball up and he just put this fucking beautiful little ball, like just a proper little through ball into the area. Young Harrison Armstrong runs on, he crosses it, and there's Beto with a nice little tap in, and that's 2-0, and that's game over to Everton. Carl, give us your thoughts, lad.
The second half was much better than the first, by far. We took the game to them from the start of the second half. I think Moyes has obviously looked at them getting a bit of momentum at the end of the first half and thought, we've got to do something about this. Otherwise, the game will just get ahead of us. And while it was 1-0 as well, I know you were saying, we'll just hang on and we'll get this win. But I always think 5 minutes to go, they're going to get one.
I think my final take, solid performance from like Tarkovsky. He was everywhere. And as I say, I think it was like his face that stopped that like one shot of theirs. Nice to see Tyler Diblin. I said to Carl off air, I'm not sure if I'd brought him on. I understand why. Some tricky little footwork. There's a player with that kid, honestly, there really is. Jackie G and Charlie Alcaraz, I think they controlled everything between them, and I'm struggling to give a man the match because I think I'd give him 50-50. Nice to see Seamus back. Nice to see Miko back. Workman-like performance. We got the job done. Nice little attendance. 50,000. 6,000 of them were travelling Mansfield fans. Any final thoughts on the game, Carl?
No, I thought my man of the match was Harrison Armstrong. I thought he was, for everything positive going forward, he seemed to be involved in it. Either with the assist for the first goal, or there or thereabouts, creating chances. And I thought for a young lad who's only 18, there's so much pressure on him to do well. I don't think he's going to be here come Monday. I think they'll ship him out on loan, probably back to Derby, where he had such a successful half season last year. And then rather than sitting on our bench when we've got a fully fit squad in the Premier League, you can't really see him getting on unless it's like the last 10, 15 minutes of games. All in all, I was well impressed with the second half. Much better.
Yeah, totally agreed, mate. Solid workmanlike performance. We go on to a game with Wolves in the third round, which leaves us onto a nice little segue to end the show. Basically, we're back down at Molineux, aren't we, for a preview of that at the weekend?
We are, and as I said earlier on, it's a great result, great draw for us in the cup.
100%, mate. Absolutely. Right, Blues, we're going to leave it there for you. Cracking little performance from Everton, more so in the second half tonight. Job done. Carl, thanks for your time, buddy. I know you're in work early in the morning.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I'm looking forward to the weekend. Can't wait to bring on the Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Do you want to see us out?
Up the fucking Toffees!